Babe, like, I'm screaming. Fantana was just telling me all the shit she was saying about me.
What did you say about my husband?
That he was young.
Why is it your problem?
If you're not paying, you'll not be raking like
why?
this.
Annie, your man is almost 50 and he's running around sleeping with 20-year-olds.
I really hate that we don't get to see these people's lives outside of the show. All we get to see them is fight after fight after fight after fight. I wish the show producers would show us, what do you mean by young famous and African? They would show us their businesses. They would show us their homes, their family life, not show us an event after an event after an event after an event. I think there's more to these people than that, and I wish we would get to see their backstories. Even on other reality shows, the Bravo Housewives, you see them in their element with their families, with their friends and in their careers. And yet we don't get to see, all we see is fight after fight after fight. I think this is why Andile left. And for me, it says a lot when Swanky keeps quiet after he hears that Annie said something. It says a lot when he sees people fighting with Annie and he has got beef with Annie and he keeps quiet. I think he's afraid of Annie's husband. I'm going to say that. I'm going to put it out there. Because in season 2, I remember Tubaba sat him down and told him that it's unacceptable for you to disrespect my family. I will not stand for it. And it seems whatever conversations they had, this is why he has decided to stay out of the Annie beef. Do I think Annie is wrong for some of the things she says? Yes. But I also think everybody else is just as bad. And I think the producers try and sort of create mountains out of molehills for any little fight that happens on the show. And it's interesting that people like Nadia, since season 1, have been allowed to hide behind everybody else's beef and drama. Anyway, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Young, Famous and African, Season 3, Episode 2. Just a bit of housekeeping to those that have joined us. This is a happy place. There is no need for negativity. If I say I don't like someone, if you like them, amazing for you. I have my reasons for not liking them. Besides, I cannot say I don't like someone. I dislike the way they behave or the way they talk. Something about them is what I dislike. I don't dislike them as a person because I don't know them fully. And Zari, thus far, I don't like the way she's spoken to the girls on the show, especially those that are linked to Diamond. The way she treated Nadia at the start, and then the way she treated Fantana at the start. And I'll bet you any girl that Diamond brings onto the show, she's going to behave the same. And also to the person who was saying that, she wasn't an extra, she didn't come through the back door. She did come in through the back door, because the way Zari came in was she came in as a result of Nadia and Diamond trying to explore something. And so Kanye went and brought her in because she was saying she wants to see the other woman in Diamond's life and see how she feels about this whole Diamond and Nadia situation. If that's not coming in through the back door, I don't know what coming in through the back door means. She wasn't part of the original cast. Let's be for real. Anyway, I digress. So you have Nadia and, Annie having a go. And these two have been at loggerheads since day 1. There's something about Annie that rubs Nadia's spirit. And so she's always got a bone to pick with Annie. For them to call each other names was uncalled for. It really was uncalled for. I can't really pinpoint where Nadia and Annie fell out. I know Nadia doesn't like Annie because of things that she links Annie to. She doesn't like the fact that Annie had a fallout with Kanye. She doesn't like that Annie had a fallout with Swanky. But Annie and Nadia on their own to sort of say, what is your beef outside of the people that you're linked to? They, on a one-to-one basis, don't have issues, which makes me think that this is just for the camera. This is just for the gram. But anyway, so Annie leaves and, you have Nadia there. And you can see Kayleigh is taken aback. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't understand what's going on. Because she actually asks Nadia, you're supposed to hold my hand. This is not you holding my hand. This is you creating havoc because I linked up with Annie because we are both mothers. Well, you need to be careful if you are linking up with someone because you're mothers. Just because you hate someone doesn't mean everyone else is going to hate them. You might hate them, but other people are going to like them. So you have to have room for that. I didn't like that. I didn't like the way Nadia sort of started the situation. I wish she had allowed them all to sit down and sort of get to know Kayleigh before she started. You have Louis arrive. Louis arrives, and he's saying this year he's not taking any BS. Anyway, as soon as he sits down, he's asked about his girlfriend, and it's like, Nadia, why can't you talk about your business? It seems like you always sort of try and focus on other people and sort of nitpick at other people. That way their attention is taken away from you. Because in 3 seasons, we haven't yet found out who you are, what you do for a living, or that's just me, or, what relationships you're in. You're always telling us you're in relationships, but we never get to meet the people. So why would you feel it's necessary for you to sort of start going at Louis and saying, oh, you said that older woman was your girlfriend, this, that, and the other? And it's like, oh my God, this is messy. Anyway, you have Nadia stand up to go and collect Fantana. Suddenly they are friends with Fantana. And so Louis is sort of having a conversation with Kayleigh, and Kayleigh is telling him that I would never date someone who's younger than me because I want maturity. I want someone with gray hair. So I don't want to date someone younger than me. And Louis is busy sitting there and championing himself and is saying in his confessional, I'll just give it a little while, but very soon we will be together. And it's like, buddy, you need to slow down. This is not a dating show for you. This is for you to sort of promote yourself and make yourself known to the world. So Fantana arrives, and we already know there's bad blood between Fantana and Louis. I personally don't understand the beef, because at the end of the day, when they were both introduced in season 2, Fantana was trying to pursue a music career, and Louis was trying to reinvent himself because of the backlash or from his previous appearance on TV. Anyway, I remember Louis telling her that it's not a good look for her to pursue a romantic relationship with Diamond. Instead, she should be pursuing a collaboration with Diamond, which made sense because Diamond has collaborated with quite a number of artists, so his music is out there. So her putting herself out there with Diamond would have done a lot more for her music career, but she didn't see it that way. You have Zari arrive with her husband, Shakib. You also, the conversation starts. They're asking Louis, who are you dating? What's going on with you? They ask Nadia, who are you dating? And Nadia says, it's the Sahara Desert. We barely know anything about Nadia. That's just my opinion. Unless you go on the internet and research her, we barely know anything about her on this show, and she's been there since day 1, episode 1. So I don't get it, and I understand the questions. So while they were talking about, Louis, asking him about his relationships, you had, Fantana felt some type of way and sort of asked him, oh, you said you like, because it came out that he likes Kayleigh, and so Fantana was asking, what is it about her that you like? Because we're 2 totally different people. Do you go for someone's beauty or do you go for someone's character? And Louis was trying to be the diplomat that he always is, and he wouldn't say anything. So when DJ Naked came in, it was already on 10, and this is why Andile left, in my opinion, because it's too toxic. It's become too toxic. It's no longer about just people presenting their lifestyles. It's become more dramatic, more toxic, more whatever below the belt. So for them to start having a go and Louis feeling some type of way, Louis is messy because Fantana was going at him and he felt some type of way, so he asked her, name 3 of your songs. You know what I do. Name 3 of your songs. And then you have, him ask DJ Naked, can you name 3 of Fantana's songs? And it's like, what has Naked got to do with this? He's minding his own business. Fantana's busy bragging in her confessional that, Naked brought me to South Africa, so he knows my songs. Naked is asking, does she even have a song? I don't know her songs. And it's like, so why did you bring her if she doesn't have a music catalog? What was the goal? Were you bringing her to be your side piece beside Kayleigh or what? What was it in particular that you brought her down for? It really went left. And Fantana, I think, was so used to talking down to Louis and Louis not responding that she was taken aback when he really kicked off and he really stood his ground, because she started asking, you have this champagne, where is it sold? You have this, clothing brand. Who wears your clothing brand? And it's like, at least he's got stuff that you can point to. Where is your music? You should be practicing your music or rehearsing your performances on this show so that you market yourself internationally, because Netflix is an international channel that anyone, as long as you've got the internet and you subscribe to it, you can watch it. This is what she should be doing. She should be marketing her music career instead of her, calling out Louis. So Nadia ended up having to walk out Fantana because Fantana had been red fulfilled, and the person she was expecting to support her didn't support her, and I feel very bad for her. I totally agree with Louis. Fantana should have used this show to promote her music. Fantana should have used Diamond to launch her music career. She didn't need Diamond as a boyfriend. She needed Diamond as a producer or as another performer to sort of help her market herself and make sure she has a greater audience for her music. But instead, she didn't. She decided to focus on a romantic relationship, knowing that Diamond was community P. So you have Zari and her husband Shakib go for a meal, and so they're just having a conversation, and she sort of brings up the fact that she wants him to get to meet Diamond, and it's like he has to meet Diamond because at the end of the day, he's not only the father of her children, but also he's one of the biggest stars on the show because he has a career that's recognized internationally, so he has to meet him as part of their storyline, because otherwise if it's just her and her husband, then people are not going to be entertained. We can only watch the fights for so long with the other cast members. She did speak about her cast members and how toxic they can be. The husband said, that's your family, at times you get along, at times you don't get along, so it is what it is and we'll accept it for what it is. And it's like, okay, if that's how the two of you want to roll, that's fine. They agreed that they'll meet Diamond. The husband expresses his concerns about Diamond and, his relationship with his wife, because even the other cast members have spoken about this, that Diamond and Zari at times they get into this little world of their own whereby they don't acknowledge that anybody else exists apart from the two of them, because it's something that they've done for a very long time. So I understand why the husband would be nervous, and I understand him sort of wanting to set boundaries. I don't know how well Diamond will respect those boundaries and whether on her own, Zari won't be sucked into whatever vortex that, Diamond wants to suck her into. So we have Diamond, and his latest song is playing Como Ça Va. This is what I meant, that Fantana should have focused on the music side of Diamond and not the romantic side, because Diamond will tell her what she wants to hear. And this was evident because he was telling her what she wanted to hear. And then in his confessionals, he was telling the truth that, I'm just telling her what she wants to hear. My goal is to iron out whatever differences we have, whatever issues we have, we're going to address them and we're going to keep it stepping. And it's like, this is why Diamond gets the girls and he has them going crazy about him, because he's telling her, I've brought you flowers from Tanzania, I've done this, that, and the other. The flowers were actually beautiful. I have to say that they were actually beautiful. It's not like he went to a corner shop and he bought a bouquet of flowers. They actually looked like he went to some florist and actually got them. His assistant went to a florist and got them. And he was able to sort of maneuver his way out of that, conversation where he was being asked, oh, you lied to me that you had a girlfriend, and I only found out through everyone else that you've got a girlfriend. I think he's seeing multiple people, and I think this is one of the reasons why he and Zari didn't work, because she wanted to be the only woman in his life, and he sadly cannot date one person at a time, and the money, I think, makes it even worse, the money and the clout, and I think all the girls want to be sort of associated with him. For Fantana to eat out of his hand and be told, let's go home, and agree to go home, it didn't make sense. It shows that she is happy just, getting whatever Diamond gives her, the little crumbs that he gives her, that's what she's happy with. Because otherwise, had it been anyone else, they would have said, no, you've got a girlfriend, I'm not going to be part of your flock of girlfriends. If it's either it's me and you, or we're done. Poor Kayleigh. So she calls Jerry to tell him that the meeting with the group didn't go very well, didn't go according to plan. It was very messy. People were falling out. And it's like, this is an everyday thing for them. This is what they do. We don't get to see their businesses. We don't even get to see DJ Naked in his DJ booth. We only get to see them argue. That's what they do. So for her to be surprised, she'd better make sure that she's made of the strong stuff. Otherwise, people like, Zari or Kanye are going to walk all over her. Nadia, I have a feeling they're going to fall out eventually. Out, because these people are nice to you when you come in. Well, some of them, and then the moment they turn, that's it. You can't sort of reverse that unless you stand up for yourself. So I can't wait to see her stand her ground, and sort of maybe when Swanky comes back, he'll be able to sort of mediate a meeting between Kayleigh and Zari, because Zari still feels some type of way about Kayleigh coming to the wedding, and yet it's not Kayleigh's problem. It's Swanky who invited her, so he needs to iron out things with Zari. you have Zari and her children go for a meetup with, Diamond. Diamond, apparently, he hasn't been seeing his children or speaking to his children as much as he normally does because, Zari has been sort of keeping the children away from him. And she went on social media and she put a post about it. I totally agree with him. I totally agree with Diamond that as parents, whatever their issues are, they should not be going to social media to discuss their issues with their children and their parenting or their exes on social media, because that will stay there till eternity. And these children, when they grow up, they'll get to see that. And what impression will they have of their parent reading all this, on social media? I understand she felt some type of way about Fantana making claims of what Diamond had told her. But at the end of the day, her issue was with Fantana and Diamond. It had nothing to do with the children. If the children wanted to see their dad, she should have allowed them to see their dad. The way she is giggly and giddy, this is why I have a feeling that Shakib is going to be stressed. Shakib is really going to be stressed because this doesn't seem like there's boundaries, even though she said that she set boundaries with Diamond. But he doesn't seem to respect the boundaries himself. He doesn't. Because he was saying to her, you can't turn against me. We're family. We'll always be family. These are our two favorite children. And it's like, well, Zari has children from prior relationships. I would assume that Diamond has other children outside of these two. There's no way he can be dating multiple people and not have other children all over the world. So for him to say that was a bit messy, and I was just side-eyeing him. Yes, he was right to speak up for himself. Zari is right to be concerned. I think her husband, if her behavior with Diamond continues, he is going to be very intimidated. One, not only the fact that Diamond has a lot of money, but also the fact that, he's very flirty with his wife, which is, Diamond's ex. I think Shakib is going to feel some type of way, and I think it's going to be problems. And I think most of their storyline is going to be taken by that. The producers of this show are doing it a great disservice. They really are, because at the end of the day, I wish they showed more of the backstory of these people instead of constantly having to watch them fight left, right, and center. I don't think that's necessary. I think they should actually show us what these people do for a living. Yes, we had Diamond in the studio and his song playing, but we need more than that. We need more than that. Show us Zari's, shops or whatever businesses. Play Nadia's music. Play Fantana's music. Show us what Lewis does for a living. Show us Annie in her acting roles. That sort of thing. That's what we want to see more of than actually what you're showing us. And we also need to see Swanky, dressing people. I know I've seen a couple of his social media posts. I know he dressed Portia for her wedding. So that would be nice if they showed us a lot more of that instead of just focusing on the drama between the cast members. I think there's more to these people and their lifestyles. Anyway, I digress. So you have, Annie go to meet up with Kayleigh, because they did hit it off very well when they first met. So I think Kayleigh must have refused to film with anyone else. And so the producers must have brought in Annie for that. So they meet up, they're having, a great time at Kayleigh's house and they're really enjoying themselves. Kayleigh's later has made some food for them. They're going to sit down and chat. On the other side of town, you have Zari and Nadia and Swanky. They're meeting up for their chat as well. And so in both chats, they're sort of going to and from. You have Swanky sort of have a conversation with Zari and call her out for the way she spoke to Kayleigh, because Kayleigh felt some type of way. And Zari's like, well, I didn't say anything. That was wrong. I didn't, whatever. And Swanky is right to say her beef should be with him. And for Nadia to say, oh, Swanky, every time you've introduced us to people, they've been problematic. And it's like, what about you, Nadia? Who have you brought to the group? What have you contributed to the group outside of, instigating little fights, starting little fights here? When you know that fights are dying down, you start another little fight. Because she also revealed what she was told by Fantana that, Annie said. And I didn't like that. I think Nadia should have said to Swanky, you need to have a conversation with either Fantana or with Annie and find out what Annie said. Instead of her sort of adding her 2 pence in, she really didn't need to say anything. She should have left that beef to Annie and Swanky. They had the issues last year. For her to start repeating what she's heard from Fantana, she doesn't know whether she's repeating the truth or not. That I did not like. On the other side of town, you have Annie saying she's forgiving, or she's letting go a lot of things to do with Nadia because Nadia is going through a lot. Apparently she had a partner who it seems like either they passed away or they broke up with her. I didn't quite get it, and because I'm not on social media following them, I don't know exactly what Annie's talking about. So I hope we get to see more of this cast outside of the gossip. So you have Diamond meet up with Zari's husband. I think this was a big mistake. Yes, Zari met with Diamond before the meetup, and then, you had Diamond and Shakib meet up after. I think she should have been there to play mediator, because this is about to be messy central. Because you have, Shakib revealed that he's a fan. They actually show a picture that, Shakib and Diamond took when they were both very young. It seems they're around about the same age, because they look like they were around the same age at the time they took the picture. And then from there, things get serious, because Diamond is now relaxed. He's saying, oh, he's a fan. He seems to really like me. He seems very good. And then suddenly he reveals that I don't like the way you and my wife behave around each other. And it gets to the topic about a child. And I think Diamond was stirring the pot. He seemed too comfortable revealing the truth that, your wife, I sent her messages. We had conversations on her birthday where she told me she wanted to have a daughter, or she wanted to have another daughter with me. So it's not me, it's your wife. You need to speak to your wife. She's got text messages there. And it's like, Diamond, why are you being so messy? Why are you creating trouble for the mother of your children? For him to say that, I swear I would never create any problems for her, or I would never say anything negative about her. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And so I hope this is ironed out, because this was messy central. This really was messy, and I don't know why Diamond chose to do this, because now her husband seems agitated, because he was already nervous about the fact that she had been with Diamond, and now for him to then find out that there's been conversations had behind his back where they've actually spoken about surrogacy and stuff, and his wife seems to have been lying to him. That was really sad. It was really sad. And so I hope he finds a way of overcoming that. But I can't wait for the drama for when they address this issue, because that Zari is going to go off on Diamond. So you have, the people arrive for Kayleigh's event. She's the first one to arrive for her event. She says she's been away from the group, so she's decided to catch up with the group and sort of see where they are. It's a Diamonds and Pearls event, so she's very excited and she hopes there's no drama. One thing I have to give Kayleigh is that since season 1, she's always been not for the drama. Every drama or toxic situation that's happened, she hasn't been part of it, which I have to give her respect for, because she's always seemed like the voice of reason within the group. She's followed in by Zari, and Zari's on 10. Zari's saying that, she's got a bone to pick with Annie, because Annie said her husband was young. And it's like, what do you expect? Your husband is young. If she had said, he was a thief or anything else, then would say she's being petty, or she's being messy, or she's jealous. But she said a fact, which is he's younger than you. You have to own it. You have Fantana arrive. Fantana doesn't want to go in because she's waiting to see what happens with, the rest of the group. Well, I think she was trying to avoid the mess. She wanted to be the gossip. I think the producers must have kept her aside and told her to wait and tell Frankie what Annie said. I think they were hoping for a 2.0 of last season. Swanky said he's in this healed place. He doesn't care what she says. He's moving on with his life and he's happy. Annie arrives with Kayleigh. They're in a good space. And Annie is actually very cordial to Swanky. So it makes it seem strange that after all she said to, Fantana, why is she being this nice to Swanky? I don't get it. Nadia didn't come to the event. I assume she said she didn't want to come. So the producers decided not to bring her. As soon as Annie sits down, you have Zari go for Annie and ask her, what were you saying at my event? What were you saying at my event? Well, she owned up. She said, I said, your husband is young. And then it's like, why were you saying he's young in front of my children? And it's like, so you think your children don't know that he's young? And besides, everybody agreed that he was young. Even Nadia herself said he was young. So the idea that Nadia would come and throw Annie under the bus when she was one of the people that was saying your husband is young. I think Nadia is the one who said he was 27 years old. So to now make Annie the villain, I don't get it. I think the show needs a villain. And sadly, Annie has been their villain and she's happy to wear that. And I hope at some point they sort of change her narrative, because it's getting old calling her the villain every single time. For Annie to have a back and forth, I think expected Annie to cower down and apologize, but Annie didn't apologize. She stood her ground. And then Zari got upset with Kayleigh because Kayleigh said, can we take a moment? She was right to say, can we de-escalate for a second, because it's getting out of hand. No one is listening to the other. We are all screaming and shouting. I think Zari thought they were going to tag team with Swanky and go after Annie, but Swanky kept his mouth shut. I think Swanky is afraid of Tubaba. Whatever Tubaba said to him at the end of last season about his clash with Annie, he's decided to take the high road and keep quiet and not say anything. So I can't wait to see what happens in episode 3 because this is really getting messy. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 1. Bye guys!